Question number 3. Question number 3 wants us to evaluate what the linear inequality system would look like graphically, okay? So first things first is that you need to make sure that your equation is in the form y equal mx plus b, all right? Where y would represent your total, okay? M is your slope, and b is your y-intercept, okay? So to find your slope, guys, you need to remember that you need to evaluate rise over run, okay? So rise over run tells me that if I'm looking at my graph and I want to graph it, all right, the rise will tell me if I'm moving either up or down, and the run is telling me if I'm moving either left or right. Almost 99% of the time, you're aiming to go to the right, okay? So when graphing this, guys, the first thing you're going to do is graph your y-intercept, all right? So when I graph my y-intercept, I need to look for what the y-intercept would be for this equation, which would be this positive 5. So again, I graph this first, okay? So I look for a positive 5 on the y-axis, okay? So positive 5 would be right here. So I'll put a dot at positive 5. All right? So now I ask myself, what does my slope mean to me? So my slope is the negative 2 over 3. So what does a negative 2 over 3 mean with rise over run? So the negative sign, you always only apply it to the numerator, which is the number at the top. And that negative 2 would mean that I would be going down 2 times. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to use this as my starting point. And I'm going to go down 1, 2 times. But I'm not done yet because this positive 3 down here means you're going to go to the right 3 times. Okay? So we're going to go to the right 1, 2, 3 times. And now I would put the dot right there. Okay? So now I'm going to ask myself, what type of line am I going to have? Okay? Here I see a less than sign. Okay? I don't see a less than or equal to. I know it's a less than sign because it looks like an L. Okay? So because there's no line underneath, it is not equal to, all right? That means I'm going to have a dotted line. Okay? So again, I'm going to have a dotted or dashed line because I'm saying that there is going to be points on that line that is not equal to my solution. All right? So now I'm going to try to shade. So it says that y is less than my line. If I'm less than my line, that means I'm going to shade below it. Because think about it. When you're less than something, that means you're underneath or you're below. Okay? So again, I'm going to shade below my dashed line. Okay? So now I'm going to graph my next line. Okay? So the first point you're going to graph all the time will be your y-intercept. So the y-intercept for this graph, all right, or for that line, I mean, would be -1. So that's what I graph first, okay? So I go to -1 on my y-axis, okay? Then I ask myself, what does this slope mean to me, okay? So I see a positive 4 over 3. Because it's a positive 4, that means I'm going to go not down, but go up 4 times, okay? And because this is a positive 3, that means I'm going to go to the right 3 times, okay? So I'm going to start here at my y-intercept, and I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, all right? Then I'm going to go to the right 1, 2, 3. So I would be right here, okay? And if you continue to do the same thing, up 1, 2, 3, 4, right 1, 2, 3, right, up 1, 2, 3, 4, right 1, 2, 3, it will help you to draw almost a perfect straight line, all right? Because again, you're looking at the slope, which is the rate of change. And it would also work if I tried to do the opposite, okay? So if I went, instead of going up and I went down, 1, 2, 3, 4, and instead of going to the right and I went to the left, 1, 2, 3, that would also be a point that would be on my straight line, okay? So now I'm going to try to figure out the type of line I'm going to have. Because there's a line underneath, that means I'm going to have a solid straight line, okay? So again, I would have a solid straight line. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and shade, okay? So this is saying that y is greater than my line, okay? So again, I know it's a greater than sign because it does not look like an L, all right? So it's greater than, so that means am I going to be above my line or below it? I'm going to be above it because I'm saying that I'm greater. Greater would mean that I'm more, I'm bigger, so that means that I'm going to shade above, okay? So now we need to identify where the solution is. So the solution will be where there's a mixture of two colors, okay? So would it be up here in this V? No. Over here? No. Down here at the bottom? No. Over here to the left? Yes, it would be. So again, this is where the solution would be, okay? So the solution can be figured out by picking any point in this darkest shaded area. So a point that I could pick would be, for example, this point right here, which would be -9, -1. That could be a solution. Okay? Or another solution could be right here, because that's in this darkest shaded area. Alright? Which would be -6, -4. Alright? Or another solution could be right down here. Alright? Or here. Okay, or here, and let's use that last one that I looked at, which was -9, -8, -6. Okay, so any of those could be a solution. You only need to figure out one.